Active Directory is the most used directory service in the world, with over 90% of the top 1,000 companies using it in their environment. So it's important as cybersecurity professionals that we know how to attack and defend it. In this video, I'll show you how you can practice attacking Active Directory by setting up your own vulnerable domain controller as a virtual machine in VirtualBox, so you can learn the ins and outs of the many common attacks against Active Directory that exist. The first thing we're going to need is an ISO file for the Windows Server operating system that we want our domain controller to be. And we can download that for free from the Microsoft website. If we go to microsoft.com, your language, and then eval center, we can choose from the Windows Server list what type of Windows Server operating system we want to download. For this demonstration, I'm going to choose a Windows Server 2022 because I feel like that's the most prevalent server OS right now. But you can choose from any of these 4 Windows Server operating systems. Just know that Windows Server 2016 is about to go end of life. Once you pick the operating system that you want to download, you just go to this download ISO link right here, and you'll be brought to a screen where you have to register for your free trial. And you can just fill in this information with bogus answers. You don't have to actually put in your real information. So here, as you can see, I filled out all this information with fake data, and we can just click download now. And we'll be brought to another page where we can download the ISO file depending on your language. So for English, I'm just going to click the 64-bit edition here. And then you can decide where you want to place the ISO on your system. Once the ISO file is downloaded, we now need to create a new virtual machine in VirtualBox. Quick reminder that if you're completely new to setting up virtual machines, I have another video on my channel where I set up this Kali virtual machine to get you ready to start practicing your ethical hacking and CTFs. So if that's something you haven't done yet, I definitely recommend you check that out. Anyway, to create this new Windows Server domain controller, we can just click this new button right here. You can name the virtual machine whatever you want. I'm just going to name it DC Video for this video, but that name is going to be what you see over here on the left. Next, you want to select the folder where you're going to install your virtual machine. For me, I have a VMs folder on my E drive where I install all my virtual machines. And then for the ISO image, you're going to want to find the ISO image you just downloaded in the step prior by clicking this other button here and then selecting the Windows Server ISO. Next, you need to click this Skip Unattended Installation button. This will allow us to install the Windows Server operating system manually, so we can set it up how we want. Once this is all set, you can click Next. Now it's time to give the amount of memory and processors we want to allocate to this virtual machine. My host system has a lot of memory, 48 gigabytes to be exact, so I'm going to give it 4 gigabytes of memory and 2 of my CPU cores. And in case you're wondering, my CPU is the Intel Core i7-9700K, which has 8 cores and 8 logical processors. I would recommend giving your virtual machine 4 gigabytes of RAM if you can afford it, but you at least need 2 gigabytes as a bare minimum. Next, we need to select how much disk space we want our virtual machine to have. 50 gigabytes should be completely fine, but you can always add more later if you need it. So once this is set, we can just click Next, and then Finish. And you should be brought back to the main page on VirtualBox with your virtual machine now created. And the first thing we want to do before starting the virtual machine is clicking this little icon right here and going to Snapshots. And then we want to take a snapshot by clicking this button right here and calling it something like Fresh Install. And the reason we want to do this is in case we mess up our configuration when we're setting up the operating system, we can always go back to this snapshot to revert those changes. So once that finishes, we can just highlight our virtual machine and click Start. Once you see this screen here, we can go ahead and walk through the operating system setup. And since I'm American, I'm going to leave all these settings the same. We go ahead and click Install Now. Then when we see which operating system we want to install, make sure to click the Windows Server 2022 Standard Evaluation Desktop Experience if you want to be able to RDP to the server and have a general GUI interface. So with that highlighted, we can click Next, accept the terms of service, and we can select this Custom Install Microsoft Operating System only because we don't already have a operating system on the server to upgrade to. After waiting a bit for the operating system to install and reboot a couple of times, we are now able to set up our administrator user. So go ahead and give it a password that you'll remember and click Finish. And then once we're met with a logon screen, we can click this Input, Keyboard, Insert Control, Delete. Now we can log in. Once we're met with the admin user's desktop, we're going to want to go ahead and create another snapshot of the server, just in case if anything goes wrong in the next few steps here, we won't have to go through the entire installation again. So once again, go to the snapshots icon here, and then click Take. I'm going to name this snapshot after OS install. And then to add some quality of life features like copying and pasting and dragging and dropping from your host machine, we can click this Insert Guest Edition CD image. And now when we open up File Explorer, we should see this D drive here that has guest editions on it. We can go ahead and run the VBox Windows Editions application here. And just next through all of this. And then we can select Reboot Now. And once it reboots, we can go to Devices up here. And under Shared Clipboard, we can select Bidirectional. So now we can copy and paste to and from the virtual machine and our host machine. If you want to be able to drag and drop files between your host machine and virtual machine, you can also set that up here under drag and drop. But for now, all we need is this clipboard. And now with our virtual machine all set up, it's time to install Active Directory and then choose one of the many vulnerable AD scripts that will turn our virtual domain controller into basically an Active Directory CTF. In this video, we're going to be using the vulnerable AD Plus PowerShell script, which will turn our server into a vulnerable domain controller that is vulnerable to many attacks, including these supported attacks right here. So we'll be able to curb roast and AS rep roast, abuse ACLs with a tool like Bloodhound. We'll be able to do anonymous LDAP queries, and there will be a public SMB share that we can enumerate. So without getting into too many spoilers, let's go ahead and start installing Active Directory and then this PowerShell script. But before we run any of that, we're going to want to change our device name to something that we can recognize. So in a previous video, I named this DC01, but you can rename your domain controller to whatever you want, and this will require a restart. First things first, let's open a command prompt as our administrator user and then run PowerShell. Now we're going to want to run the command install Windows feature AD domain services. And if we see this success code, then we know that it installed correctly. So our next step is to run import module ADDS deployment. And once we run that, we can now set up our domain by doing this long command here, where we start with install ADDS forest, create DNS delegation false, set our database path to C Windows NTDS, domain mode of 7. And when we get to this -domain name flag, we're going to want to change it to whatever we want to name our domain. So this video, I'm going to call it cyberryan.local and set the domain netbios name to cyberryan. Then the forest mode is going to be set to 7. Install DNS is set to true. Our log path is going to be the same C Windows NTDS, and no reboot on completion is set to false. Our sysvol path is C Windows sysvol, and we're going to set forest to true. So once you've decided on a domain name and make sure it reflects in the domain netbios name, we can go ahead and click enter. And after the reboot, when you go to log in, you should see the domain name before the administrator, which means you have successfully set up your domain. And with the domain all set up, we can now go to the Vulnerable AD Plus GitHub and download the Vuln AD Plus PS1 script. This is probably going to be flagged by your browser as malicious, so you're going to want to select keep when that pop-up happens. Which also reminds me that you may want to choose to disable Windows Defender or your antivirus if you want to perform attacks without having to try to evade that antivirus, which I would recommend if you're new to attacking Active Directory. So I've gone ahead and turned all of those off. And now with the Vuln AD Plus PowerShell script downloaded, we just have to make a slight modification to it. So we can select it, right-click it, and click Edit. And then scroll down to the very bottom of the PowerShell script, and you'll see where it finally gets invoked. And here we're going to want to change the domain name to whatever you set your Active Directory domain to be. So I'm going to set mine to cyberryan.local. Another optional thing you could change is the number of users that will get created when you run the script. Personally, I think 100 is plenty, but you can go ahead and add or remove the number of users you want to create in your Active Directory domain by changing this number right here. Let's go ahead and Control S to save these changes. And now in a PowerShell command prompt, we can go ahead and run the PowerShell script by doing a /vulnadplus.ps1. You're going to want to make sure you're in the directory where you downloaded that script. For me, it is C users administrator downloads. And we'll see all of those users starting to be created, as well as those users being added to different groups, and all of the different vulnerabilities being created as well. If you don't want any spoilers, I would recommend that you don't look at the output of this command running. And then after 30 seconds, your system is going to restart, and it should be all set up as a vulnerable domain controller. After the reboot, and once you log in, you'll know that you're all set up if you go to this PC, your local C drive, and you see this common Windows folder right here with the DNS restart PowerShell script in it, then everything should have run smoothly, and we can now start attacking this box from our Kali Linux machine. To do that, we're going to want to make sure that our Kali Linux machine and our vulnerable domain controller can talk, and to do that, they must be on the same network. So if they aren't already on the same network, we're going to want to go ahead and turn off our domain controller, and then go to Settings. Under Network, your adapter 1 should be NAT by default, which allows our virtual machine to talk to the outside internet. And once your domain controller is all set up, you may want to decide to turn this off. But to get our domain controller to talk to our Kali Linux box, we want to make sure that they're on the same network. So how I've done this is enabled a second adapter, and then I have a NAT network set up named NAT network 2, which my Kali Linux machine is also on, and I'll show you that in 1 second. But for now, we have our adapter 2 enabled, attached to a NAT network named NAT network 2. Go ahead and click OK. And if we go to my Kali Linux virtual machine and click Settings, we see this also has a second adapter enabled, attached to NAT network 2. If you want to do the same setup but you don't have a NAT network created, you can go to Tools up here, and then select this NAT Networks tab, and then Create. For my NAT network 2, I've used the IPv4 prefix 10.0.3.0/24. So every device on this network will have an IP address of 10.0.3. something, 1 through 255. Now that they're both on the same NAT network, we can start both of these up. So on my Kali Linux machine, we see I have an IP address of 10.0.3.4. And on the domain controller we just set up, I have an IP address of 10.0.3.9. You can figure this out by just running ipconfig, or on your Kali Linux box, you could do an IP scan of 10.0.3.0/24 to determine which IP address the domain controller has, if you want the extra challenge. And to make sure our Kali box can talk to the domain controller, we can run netexec over SMB to the IP address of the domain controller and attempt to authenticate to it with a blank user and password. And we see that we were able to reach the server. It has a name of DCO1, a domain of cyberryan.local, SMB signing is set to true, and SMB v1 is set to false. And we were able to authenticate with a blank user and password, meaning that guest or anonymous enumeration is allowed. One thing I recommend you do before you start enumerating and attacking is editing your etc host file and setting the IP address of your domain controller to the domain name and host name. So that this way, when you do things like ping cyberryan.local or DCO1 or DCO1.cyberryan.local, or whatever your name of your domain controller is, you'll get responses back instead of having to memorize the IP address every single time. So now instead of doing netexec SMB 10.0.3.9, we can replace that with DCO1, and we should still get responses back. So that is how you set up a vulnerable virtual domain controller. I won't add any spoilers to this video so you can start hacking away yourself, but if you do ever get stuck and you need help, there's a write-up on the GitHub page for the vulnerable AD Plus script. And I also did some of the attacks in my most recent netexec video, so feel free to check that out as well. If you found this video useful, please leave a like and subscribe for more content like this, and join my Discord to reach me and the rest of my community. I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to Khalil for being my first ever member on YouTube. Thank you for supporting the channel. This really made my day to see, and your support is very much appreciated. Anyways, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.